Basically, when I was young, I was raised by my uncle. He was in a gang, and everything he taught me, everything he showed me was violence.
I was born in Chowchilla State Prison. My mother had just been sentenced to 7 years. And by the time I was a freshman in high school, I was already really addicted to crystal meth. People would look at me with disgust, my family in particular. I remember my grandma asking me things like, why can't you just be the innocent child that I used to know? I didn't know what to tell her.
Life was hard for me growing up. I had no dad to look up to, no role model. My mom was going to work and trying to support us. My older brother was in and out of prison, and I didn't know what to do, so I just started gangbanging.
There's times in my life that I wish that I wasn't living, and because of all this drama going on at home, with school, moving around, at some point I had no place to go.
So I'm in juvenile hall, and my court date comes up. I'm sitting in the court waiting room, waiting to be seen by the judge, and a man named Tim Green came to me, and he offered me Fly.
The single most important thing about Fly, I would say, is hope. When kids in the juvenile justice system come to us, they've given up on their dreams, they've given up on their lives, and our programs and our people instill hope. And with hope, amazing things can happen. Possibilities and dreams become a reality.
The three programs provided by Fly, the mentoring, the leadership, and the law classes all provide specific components that are going to help keep kids out of custody.
The law program teaches at-risk youth about the law and the consequences of crime while building important life skills such as problem solving, empathy, and anger management. We help youth realize that the decisions they make can affect them for the rest of their lives. National research tells us that youth who are exposed to legal education are less likely to break the law. And in fact, at Fly, we've seen this to be true because we find that kids who know better do better.
In our mentor programs, we match kids who are struggling with drug and alcohol addictions with positive adult role models.
Having Jenna as a mentor and who she is and who she has made me become, it really inspires me. She's a very inspirational and motivational person, and I think about the things I do now today because of her, because I don't want to let her down, and I want to always impress her and be like, hey Jenna, look what I did, and I just want to see her smile and be like, yes, good job.
What the youth get out of mentoring is an opportunity to sit with somebody who is unbiased, who's not part of the system, somebody who can simply hear what they have to say, give them that positive reinforcement, encouragement that they need, and all of these types of things help youth remove themselves from the mindset and the environment that they've kind of caged themselves in.
And in our leadership programs, we help juvenile delinquents learn how to give back instead of take from their communities by designing community service projects that they do each year.
In the leadership program, graduates from Fly's Law and Mentor program apply to volunteer for 1 year. Activities include serving food to the homeless, visiting with senior citizens, and doing presentations for middle school students about the dangers of drugs, violence, and crime.
I think what's most effective about this program is that the 7th and 8th grade students can see someone who's their age, who's had a lot of life experience, and is telling them, hey, you need to really think about your decisions. I wish I had, and let me tell you about my life.
That experience, it was like overwhelming. It was nice to get to kids and help them out. They don't want to listen, but they listen because they don't want to go in the same boat I did.
In the 8 years that we've evaluated Fly, every year we assess the risk avoidance, protective assets, resiliency assets, and social attachment assets of young people. Fly just isn't one of these programs that pretends you can unzip a kid's head and pour a bunch of stuff in it and they're going to change their behavior. Fly's successful because of the structure of Fly's programs, because they listen to young people, and they're youth-led and youth-driven, and because they practice cognitive behavioral types of thinking skills and activities that allows young people to experience something and then debrief it, talk about it, see what they've learned about it. If we invest in keeping kids out of the criminal justice system, we're going to save a significant amount of heartache for the community and costs. And they become tax-paying, pro-social citizens with a future. So we need programs like FLY.
To have money in my hand, or to have that check in my hand saying, I worked so hard for it, and I went to work every single day, made me really proud of myself.
It was still a struggle, but with FLY support, I was doing it, you know, and I did graduate. I am the youngest in my family, and I was the first to graduate from high school. After my two older sisters saw the accomplishments that I had accomplished, both of them went back to school and got their diplomas as well.
I don't know if I want to be a DA or a public defender, but I know I want to be a lawyer of some sort. And then after that, by the time I'm 35, I wanted to open up my own runaway shelter for teenagers. And I was going to provide like the counselors and stuff for them to help and everything. And then by the time I was 40, I was going to try to open up my own program like the FLY did. And yeah, and also I'm going to adopt 2 kids.
Isla came to pick me up at my uncle's house, and we're going to go celebrate for being 1 year sober. And a bunch of my friends were outside, and then one of them came up to Isla and saying, what happened to Sammy? What did you do to him? He's boring. He doesn't come out anymore, doesn't party. And then later, he asked her, how does he get into the program?
When she looks at me, she's proud of me. I haven't seen that in years, ever since I was a little girl. And the same thing goes for my grandfather. It took me a long time to get that trust established again. And now that I have it back, I won't do anything to jeopardize it.
FLY people was like my family, because at home I had no one to look up to. I had no one to talk to. I felt like I was all alone before I met FLY. And being in the FLY program changed my life. I don't know where I would be without the FLY program.